Here, what's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. It's January 4th, 2023. We are coming off a 3-game slate that was who we thought it was. Also, I'm coming off a Sonic burger and ice cream. So, also I have ocean water, and I didn't even think about it. Hopefully my mouth doesn't look like I've been doing things to a Smurf. Anyway, 3-game slate. Boston and OKC. About an hour or so, hour and a half before lock. After we did the live stream yesterday, SGA gets ruled out unexpectedly, and the 8.5 spread goes to like 11.5, 12. Everyone just assumes that the best team in basketball, Boston Celtics, should be able to smash the OKC Thunder. We all knew it was going to be a blowout. It was rough. 150 to 117. The Thunder pull off one of the more improbable outcomes. and the Thunder stack. I mean, you almost couldn't go wrong rostering the OKC Thunder today. Josh Giddey, 44 and a quarter in just 24 minutes of action. Trey Mann, 44 fantasy points, 32 minutes. Jalen Williams, 33 minutes. Lou Dort, 37. Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins. A lot of flames next to the Thunder today. What can you do? Luckily, I mean, I couldn't build lineups without him. I had a lot of Trey Mann, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort. I was underweight on Josh Giddey on FanDuel. I felt like his price was a little bit efficient. Was well enough against a tough matchup that I could live without it, and I did. I cashed just fine without it, but I clearly got a little bit lucky with the only 24 minutes of action by Josh Giddey there. So, yeah, it was the day that the Thunder had made. The Milwaukee Bucks, Washington Wizards. About maybe 30-40 minutes before this game tips off, I'm cross-referencing my projections with some PrizePicks fantasy projections, and I think the PrizePicks line on Drew Holiday was like 36 fantasy points, and I had him at 42. I was like, all right, I'll take the over on that. 6 to 7 minutes after I click submit, they dropped the starting lineup, the Bucks do, and Drew Holiday's not starting. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I was like, okay, maybe he's just out with DNP that Drew Holiday would be available off the bench. Fudge. That was rough. And then the first two guys to check in for the Bucks was Joe Ingles and Marjon Beauchamp. So I was like, all right, maybe he's just active but inactive. And then he comes in, plays 19 minutes, does not do much, 2 of 8. So that hurts. I got a little trolled there, but I didn't have much of him for DFS sake. I did have loads of Giannis Antetokounmpo. When I started my lineups in single entry today, the two guys that I said I gotta have, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis 51 fantasy points, Antetokounmpo over 80. So for all of this slate's trollness, it was a profitable night in the DFS streets. I got kind of okey-doked in the prop streets today. I also had Jalen Williams over 3.5 rebounds before SGA got ruled out, and then he only got 3. But for DFS side of things, it was a profitable night. So hopefully you guys made it out all right. Today, a much bigger slate, and some spots where you might feel forced to get to because of a lack of bodies. Some spots that look like delicious fantasy spots. So we'll dive into each game and see if we can't find some early leans and get prepared. And then, of course, react accordingly throughout the day as news comes out. If you're new to the channel, hit that thumbs up, hit that sub button, and be sure to check out all of the live content. So today we'll be live at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, basically redoing this stream, a little bit more news to react from, some more total stuff like that. This one is being broadcasted live. Shout out to Thaddeus Brown, Smoothie Silk. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. What happened to Tatum out there? What happened to the Celtics out there? It was just rough. But what can you do? Basketball do be basketball, though. Let's jump into the slate today. We'll go game by game here using the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. If you guys want to add this to your repertoire of tools, I think it's a pretty expeditious way to research slates game to game. It's what I developed and built to help me, and I share it with the RunDFS.com VI community. Just yesterday, the VIP until the All-Star break for baseball was launched, so that's July 11th, I believe. That's going to come with a $100 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher, $3.99 for like 6.5 months, 7 months. I think that's a pretty good deal. So if you guys didn't know that, it just got launched yesterday. It's a good time to lock into that. It's a good time to lock into any of these deals. The year pass still has a ton of value in it as well. All right, let's open up that RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Let's go game by game here. And if you guys have already done a little bit of research, share it with the class. Drop some notes in chat. Drop some comments. If you're not watching this live, most of you aren't. The best way to support these videos is to do some engagement with it. Thumbs up, leave a comment, stuff like that. Shake up the channel and the algorithm. And yeah, because this is just the third installment of this show coming back, so a lot of people aren't knowing to look for it, right? So it'll help out more than you know. What up, Ariel? We're doing all right. First game tonight, 7 p.m. tip-off. We've got the Phoenix Suns taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. We do not have totals for some games, and for this game in particular, I don't even see it on the board. Let me refresh. Yeah, I don't have a Cavs game on this board yet. Let me look on an alternative source. Actually, let's just type NBA Vegas odds, right? See if Vegas Insider has one. There we go. Looks like maybe a 221 total, 4.5 point spread. Favor the Cavs. Okay. It looks like Darius Garland's going to be doubtful. The news that we should wrap up here. Devin Booker's listed as out. Jay Crowder, Cameron Johnson listed as out. On the Cavs side, Evan Mobley has a GTD tag on him. Now, he went through shoot around the morning of the last game. And then Darius Garland, I believe, is doubtful for this game. But we'll get the official blurb from NBC Sports Edge. Mobley, right ankle soreness, questionable, and then Darius Garland, doubtful. All right. If Garland misses, we know what that means. It means Donovan Mitchell has an opportunity to curtain call, I guess, his big performance the other night against the Chicago Bulls. Today, he's coming in at a price point of $9,600 on FanDuel and $9,600 on DraftKings. I don't know that it's necessarily an overcorrection, but at least they made a change. $600 increase from the last game and about a $900, almost $1,000 increase from the second game. So this will be the third game in the same scenario against the Suns. The matchup, not really one that I target for massive games, but usage usurps a lot. Let's go pull up the official numbers for Donovan Mitchell. What up, KJ? I gotta pull up Cleveland here, huh? I appreciate that, KJ. All right, so we're going to put Mitchell, Levert on, Darius Garland off. Mitchell, a 1.3 fantasy point per minute production, 34% usage rate, 27% assist rate. So does a little bit of everything. Very similar to what we saw last year in Utah when like Mike Conley was down. So it makes a lot of sense to be interested in going back to the well. 70 points, probably not what you should expect, right, to run it back. But still a great chance for 50-plus fantasy points. I'm curious to see where his ownership ends up at the end of the day. Pace-wise, these are two down-in-pace teams. It's going to be, I think, two bottom 8 teams in pace, right? Cavs are second slowest in pace, and then the Phoenix Suns are 6th slowest or 7th slowest. So it's a pace down spot. So not expecting a ton of extra possessions, but we kind of didn't expect that in the Bulls game either. That second half just got so wonky. So long story short, look out for Donovan Mitchell's ownership. If he's like pushing 30-40%, something like that, which I don't know that he would be, but you never know with how reactive the field can be, then I would, of course, want to be a little bit on the low side of that because there's going to be plenty of alternatives. Caris LeVert, 5,500 on DK. In all of Donovan Mitchell's upside that last game, and with Kevin Love being an okay play, Caris LeVert let a lot of people down. I'm curious to see where his ownership falls today. I think a run-of-the-mill 30 fantasy points is about what I have him projected for. Maybe start taking away some of those points from Mitchell. They fall back to Caris LeVert, so I wouldn't overthink it. I think the hunch that we had in that last game was I expected Evan Mobley to play against the Bulls, and he didn't. And when we looked at the previous game against the Bulls, Kevin Love represented double-digit shot attempts, right? 15 against the Bulls, 11 threes, and then the next game, 10 shot attempts, 9 threes. So a lot of three-point attempts by Kevin Love in the absence of Evan Mobley. I don't expect Evan Mobley I guess Mobley does have a shot at like 10-plus shot attempts, but he's not going to chuck threes here. So if Mobley did play and Love goes back to the bench, I guess it's just another net plus for LeVert and Donovan Mitchell to pick up some extra long-range shots if they feel like scoring from downtown is the right move in for those possessions. On the Suns side, without Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, usually the guys I like to target. I don't think I'm going to be too stoked on them today. I'm getting mediocre projections for Chris Paul here. It's not like he's really blown us away lately in the continued absence of Devin Booker, right? A 46 here, a 53 there. The 50 would absolutely be something we'd want to introduce into our lineups, but I do think the median outcome here is that he's just an okay whatever play. So he probably ends up in a tier 3 bucket for me. And then DeAndre Ayton's the more interesting one for me because he does lead the team in usage without Devin Booker. But it's such a bad matchup if Mobley is in. Using that same Wowie tool, let's put Paul, let's put DeAndre Ayton on the court. Let's take off Devin Booker. Can you believe the OKC stack? It was bad. I mean, it was good for if you had it, but it was bad for god dang. Just a nightmare. But I knew it would be, so I couldn't help but laugh. And like I said, I had enough of the right pieces that I made money, but it's just goodness gracious, I hate Thunder slates right now. Ayton has a 28% usage rate, so leads the team by far in usage. The next two are 22.5 on Chris Paul, 20% on Mikal Bridges. But with Ayton, if Mobley does play along with Jared Allen, this becomes one of the toughest front courts you can ask for. So it's unstoppable force and movable object type metrics meeting each other, right? If we look at the metrics chart and look at the NBA's body of work when it comes to points in the paint allowed, the Cavs give up the second fewest points in the paint. And if we look at team DVP, the Cavs, I believe, are a bottom 7 matchup for opposing centers. So it's a neutral to negative matchup for DeAndre Ayton once you get past the usage rate. I think he could muscle and muster that 40-plus fantasy point game. So I wouldn't talk anyone off the ledge, but I think him and Chris Paul just get tossed into the tier 3 bucket for me, and we just kind of go from there. No one else is really pushing at me like I gotta have them. Maybe we move a little resistance for Ayton over to Mikal Bridges, who has stepped up and is likely to play a ton of minutes here at a 6,200. There's going to be several, I call them grunt-work 6K players that give us that shot at 30 fantasy points. Yeah, I think Mikal Bridges would be one of them. And for the most part, no tier 1s from this game for me. And the Donovan Mitchell, I think, exposure when the slate locks for me is going to be more of a inverted decision versus what the field does, because I can see any which way happening, right? 17% owned last time, I believe. I don't really see. Let me look at the soft projections. Giannis, John Morant, Joel Embiid, LaMelo, Julius Randle, KD, LeBron. There's a lot of big boy names here, so I don't know that I expect Donovan Mitchell this far out to be over 1 and 4 owned. So I'll just play it by ear. If he comes in under 20% owned, that usage, yeah, I'll have him in the pool. But if he rises way too high, oh man, then I'll kind of sit that one out. What up, Cam? Played 10% Joe today, turned in 55. Let's go, Isaiah Joe. Yeah, that was a great play. Isaiah Joe was looking decent in the model. I didn't play him. I didn't want to. I didn't MME today. I knew the Thunder were going to be the nuts one way or the other to get them right. So I just played a single entry and said I'll save the bullets for tomorrow. In a single entry cash, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, incredible play for you to select Isaiah Joe. At one point I looked up LeVert was like 1 for 9 from the field. Yeah, it's tough business. Honestly, that Cavs stack, if you remember, at halftime, the stack itself wasn't looking that great. Like, Donovan Mitchell was on pace to be okay. Kevin Love the same. But, like, I was sitting opposite their ownerships in single entry, and I didn't hate life. And then I came back in the fourth quarter, and I saw what Donovan Mitchell was doing, and I saw Kevin Love got there. I was like, this game woke up. Yeah, but LeVert didn't wake up. But that's what happens when one player scores 70. Next up, we got the Thunder at the Magic. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. I got SGA right now jotted in, but I believe I don't know if he was officially rolled out. I know he's at least doubtful. Let me see what we got, because I had read a quote from the coach before the game that said that they were going to see if he'll travel with the team tomorrow. So that sounded like it was pessimistic enough to maybe expect that he didn't. Thunder. There we go. What up, Gilbert? Hope you're doing all right. She has a very late scratch for Thunder, if not being on the injury, blah, 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 blah. So I guess we'll keep an eye on this. But I guess nothing came out saying that he would be out, right? Looking at Underdog tweets familiar. All right, so I got nothing that said he would be out, but we'll see. If he can't play, even if he does play, it is a Thunder back-to-back, and they travel from OKC to Orlando, so they, I believe, lose an hour in the travel. They deal with that, and then maybe they come back down to earth. But with that said, the Orlando Magic are still staggering these suspensions. So today, we're looking at Schofield down, both Wagner's down, and then we have a more concentrated rotation with two vomit teams, right? So if SGA did play, makes him an interesting click. Of course, with the illness being enough to make him a surprise scratch yesterday, a little bit of travel. I probably lean right now from this far out that I don't expect him to play, and then we'll see a lot of blind chasing results from yesterday. I don't expect the Oklahoma City Thunder to put up 150 points every night, right? So I take it back down to earth and hope that they get back to their trolley ways. But if SGA was down, obviously Josh Giddey looks good. He was extremely efficient in his 25 minutes a day. Ridiculous shot efficiency. Lou Dort the same. Those guys, the normal stand out. And then Mike Muscala, I know a couple weeks ago when JRE got put down, it had looked like Muscala had not played a back-to-back all year. And looking at his game log, it looks like that holds up. And I don't know that it's something that we've seen like publicly announced information about. I guess October 23rd to 23rd, 19 to 11 minutes. So I guess it's not impossible. But it does look like Muscala has found his way out of back-to-back rotations. But I don't know if that's something that... I mean, it's got to be more than a coincidence. But let's see. What's our last actual back-to-back that I can look at with any substance? I guess they don't really play back-to-backs, huh? Wow, the Thunder have like very little back-to-backs in the last couple sets. What the heck? 13th and the 14th. So the 14th, November 14th, Mike Muscala DNP'd. So right now, it's probably just a coincidence with just one back-to-back as a point of reference since the last back-to-back. Yeah. So I don't want to make something out of nothing. So we'll see. But I guess there's a possibility Mike Muscala could be a Russ candidate, and maybe that would create more front court minutes for, shocker, Kenrich Williams, the 6'6" center. Darius Bazley, maybe. And it looked like they held Bazley out of the fourth quarter of that blowout last night. So maybe that's something that they keep loading in the chamber. All of that is stuff that I really don't want to be actionable information because I would rather not deal with the Thunder in my life tonight. But just thinking out loud from what I saw on the court tonight, the rotations, and what we've seen. Magic-wise, Markelle Fultz looks really decent at that price. Cole Anthony's in the mix. With Jalen Suggs questionable, I guess if he were to be down or continue to be down, I would feel better about the minutes that we're planting on Markelle. What up, Ego? Hope you're doing all right. I got nothing on Suggs. Okay. Not seeing a line on the Thunder game yet. I think that's the SGA effect. I don't see any information on this game, so I don't think the spread would be that wide no matter what, but I do think the total is probably going to be 226.5 would probably be something, if that, maybe. Let's see, both teams have also offensive rating of 110, so I'll probably put it at 220, maybe 222.5 would be my line. NBA was rigged today. Nice work, Ego. That's good, man. I only ran one and it hit, so I'm happy. Wendell Carter. So Wendell Carter's been out for a little bit, right? And this front court has been Bol, Paolo Banchero, the Wagners, right? So let's wrap up information on the Magic. Bol's news is pretty significant. He's entered league's health and safety protocol. His status for Wednesday's matchup against the Thunder to be determined. If you enter health and safety, I don't think you're going to play the next day. Bamba and Wendell Carter. So Bamba played on the 28th. His minutes have been kind of on the low side, so maybe this allows us to stretch the projection a little bit further than 20. Like maybe we get that to 25. Wendell Carter, maybe we can push that to 30 plus. He played 34 on November 18th. Missed a big stretch of games. Worked his way up to 24 minutes on the 28th. Been about a point per minute guy. So yeah, if we could stretch that minute projection into like 32, 34, I'd probably get to him, especially considering the Thunder were immensely undersized in their front court. This game is going to be really ugly, but I'm getting the sense that we're going to have to get pieces from this game because it's such a limited pool, particularly on the Magic side, but especially if if SGA ends up not playing. And hopefully we know the SGA news quick, because it did sound like there would be travel concerns for him, like he just wouldn't go with the team. If he doesn't go with the team, hopefully that news is out really early, right? What up, Justin Sports? Indiana Pacers at the 76ers. See if we got a total for this one. $232.5, and Sixers are favored by 7.5. Okay. Chris Duarte listed as GTD. No injuries on the injury sheet for the 76ers. So, run-of-the-mill stuff. Joel Embiid, 11.2K on DraftKings, 11.6K on FanDuel against the Pacers. The Pacers are probably better than the perception. They run a fast pace, so we can maybe make it a neutral plus spot for the Sixers and their bottom 3, bottom 4 pace in basketball. And then the usage for Joel Embiid is just nuts right now. Just 40 real point games. like it's his job, huh? 67 fantasy points against the Pelicans, 40 plus real points, 37, 48, 35. So the usage, the scoring for him is pretty incredible. And then this is a pretty healthy total. So if we put his usage for those projected possessions and a projected total where the team, we're giving him almost 120 points. Yeah, we expect a big game out of Joel Embiid. From the soft projections that I ran, Embiid came in as top 3 in soft projection. So that's all immediately introducing him into somebody to keep an eye on. Giannis is dealing with a back-to-back. And I think the other guy up there was Ja, and that's probably something that I can reduce a little bit considering how healthy the Grizzlies have been. So yeah, Joel Embiid is looking like a real threat today. So I'll be getting to him. James Harden, I think if something that we could play by ear is if we start seeing too much ownership on Donovan Mitchell as a guard. Mitchell's at the 9.6K range. There are going to be pivots that can meet and exceed his projection pretty often. James Harden's one of them against a team like the Pacers. Trae Young against Sacramento stands out. So there's going to be plenty of pivots, and I think I just want to keep James Harden in my back pocket here in case that Mitchell stuff gets too high. And the same with Halliburton, and Halliburton might be a more positive run back too if we want to build an Embiid Halliburton lineup. There's going to be plenty of value more than likely to fill out the holes. So couple of spots that I do like. Another thing to keep an eye on is maybe PrizePicks gives us the board's not up yet for a lot, but maybe something we can look at is free throws for Joel Embiid going against a guy like Miles Turner that can turn his block prowess into foul problems, and a guy with as much usage as Embiid. I don't mind getting some looks at some free throw props, so I'll be looking out for that. But that's pretty much it. Nobody else is really screaming at me. They're still working Tyrese Maxey back up. In the last game, they said Maxey was going to be limited for the foreseeable future as they work him back into the swing of things, and that just kind of makes him unplayable at 7K, right? So staying away from that. Yeah, OKC scored 150 on Boston. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Grizzlies at the Hornets. The Santi Aldama listed as questionable. Zaire Williams questionable. Brandon Clark listed as out. Gordon Hayward listed as questionable, and Kelly Oubre listed as out. So Gordon Hayward got injured that last game, right? Let me skip this song. I gotta take this song out to spin. I feel like I'm always skipping it. Let's go to Charlotte. He's listed as doubtful. Yeah, so I don't expect him to play. He left that last game with an injury. What we did see is Dennis Smith Jr. return. How many minutes do we get out of him? 18. All right, so they're slowly working him back into the swing of things. So I guess as long as Oubre's down, I feel decent about the minutes on LaMelo. With that said, what are we looking at for Vegas totals? Charlotte. 228, pretty low. And Memphis favored by 6.5. Okay. let's see, with the Hornets, I want to look at points in the paint allowed. Hornets allow top 10 amount of points in the paint. That's intriguing information. We know that Ja Morant will score a ton of his points in the paint. 27.2 points per game for Ja Morant. And if we look at the advanced look, he scores 14.6 points per game in the paint. So a lot of driving to the rack might be something that I look at. Coming in with a top 3 projection, I like him, but I do have reservations game to game as long as we're going to have a healthy Bane, Brooks, Jaren Jackson. Do feel like he's not going to be forced to do as much as often, and there's going to be games where Dillon Brooks is serviceable, Desmond Bane drops 25, so I think the stability on Ja Morant isn't as high as I want it to be, but I do think his ceiling is fantastic for this spot. So as long as we can get decent ownership on him, I think he'll be a staple in my probably like tertiary guards, tier 3 guards. And I'm probably just going to really spin the 9 to 10 plus K guards today and have a lot of guys between like 8